Awesome of the Rebellion, Chapter 15!
Ah, something awesome, indeed.
Yes, so truly awesome.
Chapter 15. True Freedom, Liberty, Heavenly Japan, Kingdom, Justice, Part 1. Revelations.
What?
You know, maybe it's just because Sir Alpha has actually admitted to being a troll as well, but I sort of feel like the trolling is suddenly a lot more obvious.
Yeah, but hey, that is a bad thing.
I mean, it's still awesome.
Yes. Sorry again for the
Admittedly,
wait,
if he-
guys. I was working on this chapter, but then Pluto, the planet, not the dog lol, told me to stop. So I did for a while, but then I remembered that Pluto isn't a planet anymore, so who cares what he says, lol.
But wasn't Pluto recently reinstated as a planet?
Was it?
I haven't been paying attention, but if it has, lol.
Still, that is the most ridiculous reason to not write I have ever seen.
Well, the last time, didn't he go out to buy some milk and get lost?
For 2 years, yeah. Awesome and Susaku were going to leave the UN to go save Japan in their nightmares. But then, some old dude with a smile and a suit walked up to them. "Howdy there," he said with a Texas accent. "My name is Ron Paul. I was watching your duel with the Emperor, and I was much impressed with your sexy intellect. I want to join..."
You're putting too many I's in there. He said with Texas accent, and was much impressed.
He said with Texas accent, "My name's Ron Paul. I was watching your duel with the Emperor and was much impressed by your sexy intellect. I want to join your party, Awesome, since I support freedom and liberty just like you." "I don't know about this guy, Awesome. He seems kinda crazy." Suzalu went. "I have many powers that would help your terrorists spread freedom." Terrorists spread freedom.
So we're having an actual American politician from Texas supporting terrorists. This feels weird.
"I have my own blimp that can serve as a warship. No, that can serve as a warship, and I can correctly predict the future 9 out of 10 times," Ron Paul said.
But can you predict when you're going to get the future wrong?
"Well, I trust him. Welcome to the Black Knight." Awesome high-fived Ron Paul and left. Meanwhile, in the United Nations building, Zaber was cleaning up all the dead politicians while Obama did president things on his throne. The Emperor walked to Zaber once Suzaku and Lelouch left. Wait, where was Lelouch in all this?
I don't know. No one ever pays attention to Lelouch.
Also, oh, the nostalgia. The last time we were in the United Nations building, I was still at the Japan place.
Damn,
been a
that's
while.
awesome. How can we beat him now that he's made invading Asia illegal?
Zaber went. "We aren't going to beat him or invade Asia. We're going to beat and invade everything else." Old
Despite the fact that too is illegal.
Huh? What? What did you say?
I said despite that too would be illegal.
Well, they haven't officially been ruled against on that.
But the whole point of going to the United Nations was to make their invasion of Asia legal. It was illegal until they got approval for it. So since they haven't gotten approval to invade anywhere else, it's still off limits to invade anywhere else. So the Emperor's logic is flawed. But then again, he's voiced by Wakamoto, so of course his logic is flawless.
Yes. "I am Wakamoto, your argument is invalid." Old the Emperor, he pointed at the corpses Zaber was cleaning. The Germans, the French, the Quebecians, all their leaders got killed during the chess game. All of our other enemies are dead. Now we can invade their countries unopposed. Emperor made Old Man laugh, and Zaber laughed evil too.
This was your plan all along, wasn't it?
Indeed! Now finish cleaning up those bodies so I can have you drop a nuclear on France!
A nuclear! It's a nuclear! Yay!
Hey,
No,
stop
I
attacking
would have
France!
made
My
them
old
for
roommate
once.
lives there!
That's true. This will be the second time in fanfictions that we've read that France gets nuked.
The Emperor oldered away. Meanwhile, in the Pacific Ocean, Awesome and Suzaku and the Black Knights were flying from America back to Japan. Oh my god, it's actually Japan and not the Japan place. They flew over the Pacific Ocean in their nightmares, except for Ron Paul, who brought his blimp along. The blimp helped carried soldiers who were too poor to afford nightmares and supplies and fuel for their nightmares. Orange-kun and Cullen and Lee, we are in the Jaegers down... No. Orange-kun and Cullen and Lee, we are in there our Jaegers down in the ocean, making sure no kaiju attack the fleet.
So now we've fully immersed ourselves in the Pacific Rim universe.
Apparently. Awesome was sitting inside the blimp and sipping wine while sitting on a throne chair that could spin around on wheels. He left Ask Your Prime on autopilot outside and was sitting in since he was tired of flying and wanted to sex S2 a lot also surely. Putin approached once Awesome was done having a threesome. Emperor Awesome, we are halfway to Japan. We are halfway to the Japan place. I would suggest that we park in Hawaii for a bit so that we can rest and refuel and also annex the island for Russia. That sounds like a great idea, Awesome said. But before he could land the fleet in Hawaii, they got attacked. There was an explosion that tore open the blimp and a bunch of people got sucked into the sky or burned to death. Oh no! Are we being attacked by kaiju? Ron Paul teleported down from the captain's cabin and looked out with a telescope. It looks like we're being attacked by Canadian mercenaries.
Canadian mercenaries.
There was a fleet of biplanes outside. They were shooting at the blimp and the Black Nightmares with exploding machine guns. The Nightmares tried to fight them, but they were smaller and faster and could dodge the Nightmares' attacks more easily. The biplanes were led by Billy Bishop, who had the spinning propeller blades in front of his plane fold forward to form a spiral. He charged into a
They don't function as a propeller blade.
No idea. He charged into a nightmare and drilled right through it. The United Nations may have made it legal for Britannia to invade Asia, but they said nothing about Britannia's colonies. I point you to Nimbus's previous rant on hypocrisy and flawed logic. Except Wakamoto, so your logic is invalid. Billy Bishop eviled. Ron Paul threw his telescope and drew a sword. Battle stations! He shouted. Hundreds of Tea Party members manned the blimp's defenses. They formed a musket line and shot their flintlocks through the explosion hole made in the blimp.
Oh my gosh!
They shot the wings of a bunch of biplanes which crashed into Hawaii and killed some people like in that scene from Pearl Harbor.
Ah, yes, the Michael Bay romantic film.
That isn't even the only Pearl Harbor reference we get in this fic.
That's true.
Suzaku jumped out of Lancelot and started spinning his legs in midair. Spin, Zaku helicopter! He shouted and his legs transformed into helicopter blades. He flew straight at the biplanes and had propeller duels with them. What? I'll go save our soldiers, Awesome said heroically. First, he ran over to S2 and made out with her a bit. It was really hot. Then he had Putin fastball special him out of the blimp and into Ass-Kick Prime's cockpit. Awesome drew his Christmas special machine sword and charged the biplanes. They were too fast to hit with sword slashes though. They tried to shoot him with exploding bullets, but he slashed them in half and then used his explosion Geass to explosion bend their explosions back at the planes.
Wait, they were too fast to hit with sword slashes though. But he slashed them in half. Also, I appreciate that he's using his Christmas special machine sword, but we never actually established when in the timeline the Christmas special was, because it seemed to contradict continuity about 500 times.
Yes. How is he able to stop our explosions? I've never seen such military training before, said a Canadian pilot before it got exploded. Ah yes, the good old-fashioned military training.
The non-specific military training, where you can determine who will defeat who because it's just a matter of who's better military trained.
Yep. Awesome managed to destroy almost every biplane single-handedly, but then Billy Bishop rammed him with his drill propeller from behind. He drilled apart Ass-Kicker Prime's engine, which caused it to fall down to Hawaii. Awesome climbed out of Ass-Kicker when it crashed and Billy Bishop flew down. Cherno Alpha and Gypsy Danger were walking over to the island, so Awesome smirked. Ha! You gave up your tactical advantage by choosing to fight me on the ground. You think you're the only one who brought friends? From the other side of the ocean, a transport ship came. It stopped at the beach and opened up, and a bunch of orcs charged out. Oh no! Warriors from New Zealand!
Can I just say that they are absolutely wasting this chance of fighting on Hawaii? They're not dueling in the crater of a volcano. Like, what's with that? They should have an awesome battle in a volcano with lava spewing everywhere, and awesome and fire and rocks and steam and toxic gas. No, they're fighting on a beach. Why? They need a volcano fight.
And that's not all. Paul Hogan, aka Crocodile Dundee, jumped at the head of the army, waving the Australian flag with one hand and holding a knife with the other. He and the orcs overran a Hawaii village and murdered all the villagers really violently, like in that scene from Pearl Harbor.
Why are we referencing Michael Bay's failed romance that was incredibly controversial and insulting today? Why?
I don't know.
Because I think World War II just started!
Bastard! You will pay for murdering innocents! Because as we all know, I have never done that! Awesome screamed emotionally. He drew his katana and charged Billy Bishop, who produced a rapier. Meanwhile, Orange Kun and Cullen and Lee charged the Orc army with their Jaegers. They stomped most of them to death because they were so huge. Cullen and Lee tried to use Gypsy Danger's swords, but then Paul Hogan caught the slash with his knife. He laughed. "That's not a knife," he said, and then activated his knife Geass. He created a knife twice as big as Gypsy Danger's sword. "That's a knife," he said, and broke Gypsy's sword in half. But then Orange couldn't activate this Geass cancellation Geass.
Good times with the Geass cancellation Geass.
Yep. Paul Hogan's giant knife vanished and Cherno Alpha punched him into the ocean. Meanwhile, Awesome and Billy Bishop were fighting. Meanwhile, Awesome and Billy Bishop were fencing. Billy Bishop was gaining the upper hand. Foo, you cannot defeat me. I was once a knight of the round, you know. Awesome smiled smartly. Well, there's something you don't know about me. Foo? What's that? I am not left-handed, Awesome said, and then switched hands.
What? Greatest plot twist ever.
Well, that is also a trope, but yeah. Using his dominant hand, he was able to decapitate Billy Bishop and his rapier with a single swing.
So he was able to decapitate Billy Bishop, and he was able to decapitate Billy Bishop's rapier. With a single swing. I'm not sure how you decapitate a rapier, but okay.
Actually, it means he cut the blade off completely, and then he cut off the head at the same time.
Anyway.
That was so clever, Awesome, gushed Colin as she and Lee blew up orcs with Gypsy Danger's plasma cannon. Eventually, all the orcs got murdered by the Jaegers and Awesome. The biplanes also got destroyed by Ron Paul's blimp, but not before destroying all of Nightmares that weren't Lancelot or Askir Prime, since they were on autopilot. Damn it! We lost too many Black Knights in that battle, Awesome said.
But they were empty nightmares on autopilot, weren't they?
I think they might be saying that Lancelot and Askir Prime were on autopilot, because, you know, Awesome and Susaku abandoned them.
That's true.
Thank the goddesses we recruited Ron Paul and his army.
Okay, continuity, good.
Ron Paul's blimp flew down to the island. It turned to face Gypsy Danger, and the Tea Party fired all their muskets at once. The Jaeger's electronics exploded from all the gunfire and it collapsed into the ocean. What the fuck? Awesome sweared, but that's okay because this fanfic is rated M. Ron Paul descended from a ladder and laughed while shooting a pistol in the air, which hit his own blimp and killed some dudes. It's happening! He shouted gleefully. Orange-kun was disgusted by such a display of not loyalty, and charged Ron Paul with Turbo Alpha. But before he could punch him, a Destructo disc sliced Turno's arm off.
Oh right, because Russians are Saiyans.
Yes. Even though the Destructo disc is Krillin's move. But wait, no, it's actually a Destruco disc.
And it's the most effective Destruco disc I have ever seen.
But before he could punch him, a Destruco disc sliced Turno's arm off. Putin was flying through the air with a glowing red aura. Awesome was shocked. Is that communism? No! Believe it! Ron Paul laughed.
Naruto reference.
The Tea Party fired more muskets at Turno Alpha and managed to knock it over too. Awesome tried to activate his explosion gears and explode all the traitors. But before he could, Putin flew over and whispered in his ear, "Hail Britannia!" Putin shot Awesome through the chest with a Kamehameha. He fell down and started passing out from blood loss. Awesome, what happened? Awesome? Awesome! Screamed Suzaku. Dum dum dum! To be continued.
Oh my gosh! What a tweets!
Yes, but you know, I swear, if this leads to Awesome learning that he shouldn't trust everyone and becoming a better person because of it, I will be so disappointed.
No, I think it's mostly just going to turn into a shonen training montage after he recovers from his fatal wounds.
I suppose in that sense it's actually kind of good that we don't have Sir Alpha here, because then we can actually speculate. Although I still wish we could get him along for this recording.
Although, you know, he could very easily die and just come back to life, because he does still have his life Geass, even though I'm pretty sure he traded it out a while ago, but still has it anyway.
No, he just keeps trading out all the other Geass he has.
Yeah, but I'm sure at one point we noticed that he had two different Geass. Or was that just a commentary on the fact that he had an explosion Geass when he wasn't supposed to?
Possibly, but in any case, he could always have just traded them off screen.
That's true. Still, he has the life Geass most likely, which means he can't die.
In any case, so glad this fic is back.
Yes, we are.
Oh my gosh, yes. I love all the references in it, though. I mean, the writing style's changed a little bit, but it's still really entertaining. I am admitted by but that's okay, because this fanfic is rated M reference.
Yep.
Or was that this fic? I'm trying to remember.
That was, in fact, this fic.
So he just referenced his own fic, or he repeated a joke from much earlier in the fic.
Well, yeah.
But if I remember correctly, wasn't that same line in Dark Yagami?
No, Dark Yagami was rated T, not M. But it
Oh,
did
that's
make
right.
comments about that, yeah.
With a naughty word that I can't say, because this fic is rated T, not M.
Indeed.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
So,
Also, the Tea Party.
yeah.
I mean, I admit that their political platform's a bit what, but why are they working with communists?
Also, so how about my extremely exaggerated stereotypical Texan accent?
That was interesting.
Well, it's like, I generally consider myself really bad at imitating accents, but I feel like I can sort of do a Texas accent if I just exaggerate it like hell.
Yeah, it came off as a proper accent. That was a really epic chapter, though. But there needed to be a volcano battle!
Yes. And
Sir
when
Alpha,
are
what are
we
you
going to see
thinking?
Lelouch
Volcano
again?
battle!
I mean, aside from the fact that he was briefly mentioned at the start here, which I'm pretty sure was meant to be awesome, but he just hasn't been around for a while, has he? And I wonder if they are ever going to address the fact that it's actually kind of fucked up that he has been brainwashed this whole time. But nah, it's Lelouch, so who cares?
It's not like brainwashing characters in a fic is new.
Nah.